We're just two friends who love the movies, call each other every morning.
All right, the final countdown. The final countdown, Mitch. How are you
High five.
feeling? How you feeling?
Uh, you know, I always feel that did I make the right decision? But I like that it's set in stone and there's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah, it's set in stone. Letterbox. Once you make your list, they officially lock it.
Well,
They don't let you
I mean,
make
I could change
edit.
it.
No, no, no. They don't
I mean,
make
I
you let.
could be dishonest and change it, but
But Letterbox just officially this year they launched this thing where if you make a list, you can't
okay,
change your list.
right, okay. Well, one thing I'm hoping is that after this, we'll still be talking about movies that you're watching, but as we've mentioned, I'm not watching movies until April 15th at least. And
That's
I'm
yeah.
hoping I can talk Sam into doing a decade in review and going back to 2015 and looking through our list. But it
Yeah,
may be a little much.
no, no, no. We can do that, uh, especially for the fact that you know, you won't be watching films. I mean, obviously will be catching up on things that you've seen recently or in the past before you stopped you started your month. But all right, Mitch. Well, without further ado, this is our top five. These are the only five movies from each of us that you should be looking at for any top 10 or top five movies of anyone releases. This is the important one. So, Mitch, why don't you start us off? What is your number five?
Sure, I'll start, man. Marty Supreme, Marty Surprise.
All right. Okay, okay. All right.
Lori had this on last night. She finally watched it.
Oh, what did she think?
Yeah, I think she was captivated by it. She was in that mode where she was like, cussing at Marty, but she was also like just totally captivated by the movie. And man, this movie, I didn't rewatch it a bunch of times like you, and I saw it on Christmas in a theater, and I just, into midnight, and I was real high on it as you remember maybe,
Yeah, absolutely.
and the high I guess wore off. But the thing is, I've talked a lot this year about, you know, uh, Urchin, the mastermind Cloud, where, a character at the end, they get kicked into hell, so to speak, in some form
Yeah,
or another. And then in this movie, Marty deserves that, right? But that's not
yeah,
what he gets, and that's called mercy. And I think that localizing the mercy that he gets in the person of his son, is I've got my daughter, I've got a son on the way. Like I don't deserve to have, these kids and or the wife that I have, the way I've lived my life, the things that I've made important instead of the things that are important. And I don't know, man. It's just can you go through all this chaos? Can you blow all this up and can you still get some mercy, some undeserved mercy? Marty does. It looks like. I love this movie.
yeah. That ending is a great ending, and it's an ending that I think years from now people are still going to talk about. What does it mean? Was he crying because he's genuinely happy or that his life is over? So I love this movie, and it's interesting that you said that you rewatched it and you
I didn't rewatch it.
oh, you didn't watch it with her.
No,
Oh,
I'm kind of off the sauce, but
oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right. I thought I just assumed that she had it on and you were just
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I was around, I took a peek at the ending, but it's like this sometimes a person uh, needs a little help and sometimes a person needs to go to jail. And that's the tough part of my job is trying to make that call. It's a tough part of
Dude,
life. It's the tough part of walking out the door.
I mean,
Who
we're
can we
always gonna
forgive?
we're always gonna quote Magnolia on this show, so it wouldn't be a movie called Podcast without Magnolia. I'll tell you that. So, anyways, yeah, my number five, Mitch, and in a few minutes, Vanessa and I, well, we had it was a long night. Milo was just
Baby
he
Milo.
he was a little restless last night, which is okay. So I'm picking her up some coffee. She needs it, and I need it. But anyways, my number five, Mitch. Look, in 2024, if you would have told me, if you would have told me that I was gonna have a zombie movie on my list,
Uh-oh.
I would have thought you were crazy. But here we are. Uh, my number five pick is 28 Years Later.
Oh,
I freaking love this movie. This is one that me and Vanessa we just randomly, we're on sync and we like, do you want to watch 28 Years Later? And we just pop it on, and it's one of those movies that no matter where it's at in the movie, like whatever scene it's on, we just stay glued to it. And I think this movie is far better, far deeper than a lot of people think. I think they think it's just a horror zombie movie, and it's really not. I mean, it is that, but this is really a coming of age story. It's a movie about a son and father, a son and his mother. And if you would have told me that I would cry during this movie, I would have thought you were crazy. But there we were, me and Vanessa both with tears in our eyes. This movie is just like an emotional roller coaster. It's frightening. It gives you everything that you want in a zombie horror movie, but it gives you so much more. And I think this is a return for Danny Boyle. And I was nervous because, as you know, a couple months back, the sequel came out, The Bone Temple. And
yeah.
I was like, okay, is this gonna make me love this movie less? And it didn't. It made me appreciate it more. Hold on, let me
Here we
just.
go. I don't even know. We're doing a countdown list,
Hey,
so
how
it's
you
not
doing,
like I
man?
can
Can I?
really
I'm
meaningfully
good. Can
fill
I
in the
get
dead air with
uh two lavender
comments
white
about
mocha
movies that I've made.
iced?
Well, I'll tell you this. I was at the
Um,
gym yesterday,
one of
and
them,
where
like
I'm at in
the
the
not the small
gym,
one, the medium,
you've
and then one of them
got
small.
there's like 15, 16 TVs that are lined up in front of where the
Yeah,
treadmills are facing.
and then
And
on
I
the
could see
medium
about
one, can
five
I
of
just
them.
get it
So on the far
with
right,
one
there's like a
espresso
Planet
shot, and
Fitness
that's it?
ongoing
Yes,
advertisement thing
for
with
the
like
medium.
some music and like the clock on
Yeah,
it.
however it
And
comes.
then there's another TV
No,
that
no, no,
has
that'll be it.
HGTV on it. And there's
All right,
another
thank
TV
you.
that has local news. There's two I can see that have sports, but there's one that will typically show some movies. And so the Jurassic World Dominion was on, and I was like, dude, this movie's not so bad. All right, Sam, I was just filling in some dead space there. You go ahead. I thought it was kind of cool that you had a sequel on your list. I think that's the only one between our lists. I don't,
And then thank you for holding
oh,
down the fort, Mitch. I'm about to pay right now.
oh, okay, he's still going. So yeah, anyways, Jurassic World Dominion, I think it's called. It's not a movie that I liked very much, when it came out. But I was just watching, Chris Pratt. He was swimming down there after Bryce Dallas Howard under the water, and I was like, this is pretty cool, dude. I mean, I know we're jaded about movies, and I know you should criticize movies when they're phoning it in, but I don't know, man. How awesome is that, dude? I'm sitting there in a treadmill, three TVs to my left, caddy corner. We got an action hero swimming down to save his gal. They're outrunning dinosaurs.
Hey,
You ever seen somebody outrun a dinosaur? We should really get some sponsors for moments like these. I don't know. I don't. Maybe the baristas aren't on the ball today.
thank you, dude. Do you think that that the few listeners, and I say few, which hopefully will be more soon, they get tired of whenever I go through drive-throughs and stuff?
And it's probably a toss-up, dude. Maybe some of our people that just whatever their thumbnail is, they decided to click, and then they're like, "What in the heck is this, dude?
I
I'm
know.
giving this movie podcast a chance, and they're gonna make me sit here and listen to them order coffee and talk about the
Well,
Planet
to
Fitness
be
TVs."
honest with you, dude, I mean, if you go to any YouTube video, right? They're gonna have sponsors and stuff like that. So I always look at this as like a intermission. You're just like
Little
I
commercial break.
a
But
little
they're
commercial
going
break.
up. They go back to the video and they're trying to
Thank you,
find the skip ad button, and they're like, it's not there, dude. I just gotta listen to this
thank
guy.
you. You too. Yeah, it's intermission. So, anyways, I am sorry about that, folks. I had to pick up some coffee for my wife and I. But yeah, my number five is 28 years later. I know you didn't watch this one. I kind of wish you had. I think this is if I know you're not really into like the zombie horror or whatever, Mitch, but if there were any zombie horror movie that I think you would actually connect with, I think it would be this one. And I love it, and it's another one of those repeat ones where I think I'm going to be watching it for a while, just multiple times because of the fact that not only I love it, but Vanessa loves it as well.
Duly noted.
All right, so what's your next pick?
Well, my next pick was one that every now and then, a lot of times, really, you'll get one on Oscars week when you're marathoning, when you're scrambling, when you're just picking up movies and seeing what they're all about. That makes it this far up to the number 4 spot, and Henry Johnson was that movie.
Wow.
Uh,
Hey, and FYI, people, we, Mitch and I both love this movie, and we actually have its own separate video on it because I looked on YouTube and there's not really anything on this movie, so we thought it
we are the
deserved its
premier
own.
experts on YouTube for David Mamet's Henry Johnson. Oh, by the way, David Mamet was in Marty Supreme, which I think is funny.
What? I knew that, but I forgot what character he played.
So he's the director of the play that Gwyneth Paltrow's character is in.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. But he wrote and directed this. He wrote it for the stage. His son-in-law stars in it as the titular character. You've got an amazing Shia LaBeouf performance that I can't stop thinking about. Laura and I were talking about it yesterday again. It keeps coming up. This movie is just captivated our imagination, and I'm really looking forward to finding a chance to rewatch it. Although typically I'm not the biggest rewatch guy. There's something about this movie. I want to screen it for people. I just want to interact with it more.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of like one of those movies that I feel like we could have put on at the meal, and at the end of it, because it's so short, everyone could just sit around and just talk about what they thought the movie meant,
yeah,
you know?
I think so. And it's just different. It's different than pretty much anything I saw throughout the year, with maybe one or two exceptions. But you don't get movies like this very often.
Yeah, I
So
I love this one, and I'm kind of surprised, but also not surprised that it ended up on your list, this high on your list actually. But I do you kind of have a little bit of regret, maybe, like now that time has passed, that maybe it could have been a lot higher? Because what, it's your number four?
higher than 4? No, no, I feel pretty good about it. Because look, I mean, I think it was one that I was like, oh, this is the thing, But also, just by virtue of when I saw it, it's like it doesn't have the benefit of some of the other films I'm going to say that have maybe stood the test of time a little more or
Yeah.
less.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
Well, that was your number four. I guess my number four. So my number four, I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because of the fact that we pretty much have its own video. But my number four is Eternity. I'm just going to say a couple things. One, Vanessa hates rom coms, but she actually sat through this one. She liked it. She laughed. It was just a perfect date movie, right? Secondly, and after rewatching it, I stand by what I said. I think this is the best rom com since 2009's 500 Days of Summer. This movie is legitimately romantic. It's legitimately funny, a comedy, and it has fantasy elements in it that are just. This movie's so witty, so original, but also kind of, there's similar aspects of it that remind you from other films, but that's okay because it's its own thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very smart film, and I love that, and I appreciate that. I'm tired of watching. My guilty pleasure is rom coms, and I'm tired of romantic comedies dumbing it down. And this movie has no need of that. And
Huh.
this is one of the standouts. I just love it, man. I think this is a movie that when I first watched it, the theater was packed with couples, and everyone was laughing. I had not seen like I that day was a movie marathon, right? And the movie I had watched before that was Knives Out, the recent Knives Out movie. And
Yeah.
it's insane to say, but there was more energy in Eternity than there was the Knives Out movie, and which is surprising because it's a Knives Out movie, right? And so I think this movie is going to be beloved years from now. I think people are going to finally catch up to it and realize what a great film this is, and it's pretty special in my opinion. So my number four is Eternity.
Nice. I like it. Well, I'll go on to number three then. And this one is one that I thought was going to be number one for just ever since I watched it. But it got upset, and that is Ephes.
Ephus. All right, Mitch.
My time went so quickly, lickety split. Dude, one of the best needle drop credit songs moments ever, and I still honestly can't tell if it's just on the strength of the Tom Waits song that it ended with that I loved it so much. But also, I watched it on New Year's Eve, and that was crazy. So it's just one of those quiet movies that before you know it, it's wounded you good, and that's the point of the movie. It's like things are over before you knew it. It's about the last time. It's about when the last time is the last time, and
Yeah.
not knowing when that is necessarily, and it getting here before you knew it or wanted it to. The people you go through this life with as the planet spins madly through the cosmos. But yeah, dude, there were three movies this year that ended with the Tom Waits song. Isn't that interesting? You just mentioned one, the Knives Out movie, and then there
Okay.
was one of the last ones I watched, Spectateurs, ended with Ruby's Arms, and of course
Okay.
Tom Waits was in a movie, so it's a good Tom Waits year. But yeah, it's basically cheating to end your movie on a Tom Waits song, especially one as powerful as Old 55.
Yeah, Ethos, man. I almost forgot about that movie until I saw it in your list. I'm not that it's a bad movie. I thought it was a great movie, and I'm kind of surprised that it didn't end up on my list.
Yeah, me too. I was too.
Because it's baseball. I played baseball. I love baseball.
You played T-Ball, dog.
No, no, dude. Oh, okay, yeah, I left from the. So I actually played for many many years after I left the school we both went to.
Very funny, dude.
Um, yeah.
Okay, dude, watching Angels in the outfield is not the same as playing baseball. Okay.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Okay, Mitch. Because Mitch says so, then Mitch. Yeah. All right. So, well, that was a good pick. I'm glad you got to put it in there. That way, it's at least recognized in some way by either of us. My number three pick. Look, Mitch. I know that
Here we go.
you weren't really fond of this movie.
Here we
Well,
go.
you gave it a positive rating. I should say that, but you didn't. I was surprised, and you know what? I've talked to multiple people about this movie, and here's the thing: this movie demands to be seen multiple times.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
no, I'm serious. It's a nearly 3 hour epic, man. It is so layered. There is so much going on here. And when we talked about it, and by the way, the movie is The Secret Agent. My
Oh,
number three pick is The Secret Agent.
what are you
When,
talking about? I liked that movie. Again, this is ongoing. There's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, I'm glad that The Secret Agent is on your list. This movie is awesome.
I, dude, because the last time we talked, I was a bit surprised. You seemed to, I don't, maybe you were just messing around with me.
Yeah, I think you need to just play back the tape.
I don't know. Because it
I,
seemed
I
like you
said
didn't.
only positive things about the movie.
No, no, no. What I'm saying is, it seemed like there was a lot of things that you missed about the film.
It's a confusing movie.
It is.
But I think you didn't understand it either.
I did after multiple viewings,
Well, you had seen it multiple times when we talked about it,
but that's why I'm
and couldn't
saying,
provide answers to my questions.
because at that time I didn't want to.
Hmm.
I just look, Mitch. Look, this
Have
movie
you
is
have you watched Secret Agent Explained video since then?
no, no, actually no. I've been too. Actually, I may watch it one after we wrap up today. But look, this is one of those, like I said, that demands to be seen multiple times. It is so. It's like a big novel, right? It feels like a novel, right? And it's a movie about memories, about fathers and their children. And one day, you know, one day the people who have memories of you will no longer be here. Can you believe
Mm.
that? And will be lost, right? Like the past will be lost. And there may be little audio files,
A little
uh,
flash drive of you.
little details that reveal, and people from the future, 100 years from now, will hear it and they'll want to know who were these people. And I
And you
think
ask your son, and he'll say, "Honestly, I don't really remember my dad."
I don't remember.
Not your
Yeah,
son, Sam. I don't want that to happen to you. Obviously, his dad died when he was young in the movie. The ending was pretty resonant.
dude, it is so powerful. I like I said, Mitch, I watched it like 3 times, the movie, and every time the ending worked.
Well, you're
It's
making
so
me think
sad.
of their decision again to have Wagner Moura play the adult version of the son of his character that he played throughout the movie, and even though like he's been kind of reduced to this clip on a flash drive that's being hashed out at like university students, there he is, in some way, right, carrying on, going forward, and like the things his dad did, although he can't remember them properly in the way we think of memory, like they're
But
still.
we've seen it, and we know that his dad loved him. We know that.
And that he invested in him, that he spoke to him in ways that were impactful even to his subconscious, and that the relationship and the ways he interacted with his grandfather, who did ultimately end up raising him, were impactful to that experience. And yeah, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, this is, and maybe it resonated with me a lot because of the fact that I just had a son, right? And I've been a part of Levi's life since he was very little, and then of course Vera as well. But it made me think. It made me really, really sit down and think, like, what are they gonna carry on into their life as they grow older? You know,
What's
what
crazy is it might be that they're like pouring over this movie podcast stuff, right? And they're like, uh, Milo, what was going on with your dad? And because Sam, he ate too much popcorn at the movie theater and stuff, so he had to have a heart attack. And then he's like, honestly, I don't remember, but yeah, I'll check out this show. Thanks for showing it to me. It's only got 10 views total, but
Dude, yeah, I mean, you're right. We're creating a time capsule in a way, right? That's what we're doing right now. We're creating something. We're here in the present. We're talking about stuff from the past, but and then future whoever
oh,
listens to this.
listen, baby Hank. Okay, I didn't haven't revealed this on the show yet, but we're naming my son Hank Warner. And we got Warner just before Paramount bought it. So, uh, and Hank, if you're listening, I don't want you watching The Secret Agent. Okay, go watch a Christian movie. Okay, love you, son.
Hank,
Nope, nope, Hank.
wait, I was just
Listen to
gonna
your
say
father.
you should listen to your dad. But
Oh,
Nova Milo, whenever you get of age, if you want to watch The Secret Agent, you're more than welcome to. I think it's gonna open your eyes to a lot of things. And this movie I forgot to mention this is one of the most relevant films of the year, which is strange because this is still going on over there in Brazil in that
dude,
area.
I have no idea what's going on in Brazil personally.
Oh, well, dude, this is stuff that's. Remember, I'm still here.
I didn't watch that one actually.
Oh, you didn't watch it. Okay. All right. Well, this is okay. All all the love that people had for that film, which I think is a good film. It's a good film, don't get me wrong. All the love that people had for that movie, that's how I felt about this movie. I think this movie was more effective in what it was trying to say. But anyways, that's my number three pick, Mitch. I love this movie. I can't wait to watch it again because there are even after three viewings, there are still things that I didn't catch the previous time. But yeah, that's my number three. So what's your? Are you on your number two?
Number two,
Okay, number two. Let's go.
Blue Moon. You
Yeah,
saw me standing alone
yeah.
without a dream in my heart. I don't know the tune to the song to be honest. Maybe that's close. But yeah, this, like Henry Johnson, it's like exactly my speed. This single location, dialogue heavy, character driven, set around a historic kind of moment is just hitting for me on so many levels. And of course, Ethan Hawke
Oh
is
my gosh.
bringing it, and so is Linklater. And
Yeah.
Linklater doesn't bother trying to auteur it up in there. Not that he sticks in one lane anyway, but he doesn't bother with himself. It's not like you
Yeah.
would necessarily watch this and say that's a Linklater
It,
movie. You
it,
might
it
could draw connections to other of his films, but
it's
he's getting
almost
out of the way of the movie.
it's almost as if he's putting the audience as another person in that bar and just sitting there and watching, right?
Yeah, you're a bar patron in there on this crazy night, and just watching this charismatic figure, this complicated figure, interact with his own legacy, interact with his inevitable demise, interact with love and the lack of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I like this one too, and I think this is one of those movies, Mitch, where even after I watched it, because of how much you loved it, it made me appreciate it a little more, you know?
Preach.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's a good pick, man. I I knew it was gonna be in your top three at least. I knew it. I was like, he's gonna have it in his top three. I just know it. Hold on. Let me give the coffee to Vanessa. Well, she is knocked out, so I'll put her coffee in the fridge.
She'll wake up to something nice.
Yeah. Anyways, so that was we're on number two, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So number two, Mitch. All right. Well, look. I know this is one of the. It was bound to be. It was bound to be here, and I'm just gonna say it. One battle after another. Okay. Um.
Nice. This is what I thought you were talking about when you were prefacing Secret Agent. Uh,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give me a hard time about this movie, which I love.
Yeah, dude. This is one where look. Is it PTA's best movie? No. But is it even in his top five? I don't know about that. No, probably
But
not.
it's his.
But God, man, this is PTA. He finally got his Oscar. This is this is the movie where when I first watched it, was cold on it, Mitch. I was cold on it, but I
Are you
couldn't stop.
sure?
I
Let's roll
liked
back the
it.
tape, folks.
Look, I liked it. I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I do now. And I kept thinking about it, and I rewatched it again in theaters, and then I watched it again with Vanessa, right? And she loved it. It was one of her favorites of last year, which surprised me because it's hard for her to sit down for a 3 hour movie, but this movie went by like that. Like this
Mm.
just shows you like that PTA. I don't know. Did this one win best editing? I think it
I
did, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So this movie was perfectly edited, perfect pacing. I mean, a great Leo performance, great supporting cast. I mean, I had voted Sinners because I not because I thought Sinners would win the best cast award, but because of the fact that a lot of people were saying, okay, it was going to be the front runner, so that's the only reason why I picked it. Obviously, because it's a new category, I don't know anything about that, but I'm so glad that this movie won best cast because I really did think it was probably the best cast overall. I once again very similar to the Secret Agent. There's a lot of things that are relevant to us to what's going on right now in the world. Well, specific, mostly here in the states. Not to get into politics, but this movie is just entertaining. It's funny. It's thrilling. There's some really amazing action set pieces, especially that car chase scene at the end, which will be an all-timer, Mitch. Even if this movie is forgotten, that scene will go down as one of the greatest scenes in movie history. I guarantee it. And God, man, yeah. I mean, this movie's awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, great pick. Obviously, that was going to be in your list, and I've heard it was the best picture of the year. Some people are saying so. Yeah, that makes good sense.
All right, Mitch. So what are we down? Are we down to the number
This
one?
is it. Yeah, we're here at number one, and look, I I'll tell you my number one, and I'm just glad we're not ending on me. My number one is the voice of Henry Job, and I don't even think about it. It's hard for me to even think about it as a movie. It's eh, it's more than a movie. It's a reminder. It's a document, um, and I think it's the only movie. It's the only movie I watched that made me just stop and pray. And it's like all I can. This is like the only way I could respond to this. Is the only one that made me question what I was even doing in my life. It was the only one that made me really interact with what's going on in the planet. It's the only one that made me weep like 3 days in a row, just every time I really thought about it. And it's not a movie that maybe it's the first. Maybe it's the first. I'd have to go back. It doesn't give me joy at all, and it doesn't make me happy at all, and I don't love it. But I didn't. I knew after I watched it there was no other place for it than my number one spot. So it's just what it means to be a number one movie took on a totally different characteristic this year.
Yeah, I think when it comes to you and I, man, well, first of all, I want to say I'm glad this one ended up as your number one. I knew it had affected you a lot, and I knew it was going to touch you when I recommended it. It's a very powerful film. To be honest, it was in my top 20. It didn't quite make the honorable mentions, but it's still a great film. It's still a powerful film. But what I noticed about you and I, Mitch, which kind of moves into my number one, is that we look at movies that are uh, uh, not just movies, right? They're emotionally they give us an experience. They're more of an experience, right? I mean, Gasoline Rainbow, right? I had Perfect Days as my number one the previous year. That movie is just like a meditation, right?
Uh-huh.
And it leads me into my number one, and my number one movie of 2025. It surprised me, Mitch, because here's the thing. Okay, I have to reveal something to you. One
Uh-oh.
Battle After Another was actually my number one movie of the year. This movie that I'm about to reveal was actually my number like five. Okay, but I had been thinking about it. It had been stuck in my head for weeks because of the fact that I just had my son, right? And I was like, you know what? I wonder if it's still as powerful as I remembered it. It's been on my mind. I want to watch it. So I rewatched it the morning of the Oscars, right? Before I officially sealed my list, right? And that
Uh-huh.
movie is A Little Prayer.
Yes.
And I want to read something from it's by Roger Ebert, but it was in Matt Zoller Seitz's review of A Little Prayer, right?
Uh-huh.
So Roger Ebert, and this is quote to quote Roger Ebert to write one of his most vulnerable essays, "A Prayer Beneath the Tree of Life," about Terrence Malick's 2012 epic. So this is what Roger Ebert said. I value the kind of prayer when you stand at the edge of the sea or beneath a tree or smell a flower or love someone or do a good thing, he wrote. Those prayers validate existence and snatch it away from meaningless routine. This movie does the same thing.
Oh
I
yeah. That's
the,
good.
this this movie very much like how you felt about the voice of Hind Rajab. This movie was more than a film, right? This movie was just a small, just a very small little, and once again, Matt Zoller's Ice, he wrote it perfectly, right? He said, uh, "A little prayer is like a beautiful hand-wrought sculpture that's small enough to fit in your palm. Making it bigger would not have made it better. It's perfect just as it is."
Uh-huh.
It's so very small, and yet it's so gigantic, dude. In what it's trying to say about parenting, about children, and that final ending. Whenever what he says, where she says, "This is a panorama," right?
Uh-huh.
And then the camera just looks at the life that we're looking into, right? And
Uh-huh.
every time I see something beautiful, I think to myself of that scene, and like this is my life. This is a beautiful moment. I need to take it in, and they're just standing there taking it in. And that's the beauty of life is that we need to cherish these little moments, these small films, just like a little prayer. And yeah, that's why it took over my number one spot from One Battle After Another. I think
Well,
obviously One Battle After Another is the more entertaining film, but when it comes down to it, what movie affected me the most it's A Little Prayer.
well, I think it's a great pick. I think it's the right pick. And if our number ones don't, snap us out of it and make us pay attention to the beauty and the horror, so that we behave accordingly towards them, then what are our number one movies even doing? So I'm very happy with these lists, and I think we'll revisit them over the years. I always look back at the list, and it kind of paints a picture of what that year was like,
Yeah,
where the head was at, where the heart was at, what was going on
yeah,
personally. And so here we have another portrait, man, another portrait complete.
yeah. And I think that's a perfect way to end this, man. So I'll talk to you later.
See you.